But I believe the first instance is Mr. Wood is wearing Chris's dress, right?
Yeah.
And both girls swear they didn't do it.
Right, because the moonlight was filtering in through the window.
Yeah.
And we'll hear that again and again and again in this book.
Constantly. Those dummies just keep staring. It's creepy. I probably wouldn't want a dummy just staring at me when I sleep. I'm going to put that thing in the closet. But now they both have dummies. But you know what they both don't have?
The parents' love?
And talent.
Oh, right.
They both do not share the same talent because Chris is awful. Her lips are moving. Her jokes are just bad. Even her friend, I forget her friend's name. He cannot muster the energy to pretend that it's even listenable. He's so bored. He's just like, well, I'm going home. This is...
I did want to mention, though, that around, chapter 4, Stine's writing style gets very, I called it the return of the Cormac McCarthy style. Mm-hmm. Because he's writing, and then he'll start writing the character's thoughts in the first person.
I realize that, yeah.
But they're not in quotation marks, and it's not like the way you would write a character thinking to themselves. So no. I just made a note of that because that persists throughout the book, and it's just it was just very weird. It was like reading The Road again.
Okay.
Only, without the cannibalism and rape.
Kind of the only way to tell this story, because you can't only see this story through one person's perspective, but you also want to know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But I mean, points.
When you have a third-person narrative with an omnipotent narrator, omniscient, what's the word?
I don't know.
Narrator that knows all, the god narrator.
Oh, ventriloquist.
Yeah. Usually it's Chris thought this, or what happened, Chris thought. But not like all in the first person like that. It was weird.
Stine's I don't have time to write this. They'll get it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it was a bad choice.
No.
It's an interesting choice, and
exactly.
I liked it.
I did too, Nick.
Okay.
We're on the same page here.
Because we're reading books.
We should be writing Chris's jokes here.
Oh, God.
I don't know if we'd be much better, but Chris blames her terrible jokes on how she can't get her hands on any good joke books. So she's just stealing jokes out of books.
She's stealing jokes, and the jokes that she does steal fucking suck.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention one thing. In chapter 5, when, she comes home and, her dad's there, and he's like, I'm here early because I'm going on a business trip tomorrow, so I had a half day at work, because apparently that's a thing. He got fired. And they're cutting onions.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're cutting onions. Now, do you remember... This isn't the first time that cutting onions comes into play in a Goosebumps story.
Okay, what was the last time?
Well, the only one I remember is on the TV show, the TV episode of Attack of the Mutant.
Okay.
Where, what's his name? Spencer is the kid's name?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's been a while.
The main kid.
Sure.
He goes to his parents like, Mom, Dad, the mutant's out there with the galloping gazelle and the tower. And they're cutting onions, and the father's just like, I can't listen to you because my eyes are running because I'm cutting these onions. Fuck off, son.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because the dad just looked like a big fucking nerd, so that's why I remember.
Okay, so you're not... see, I thought you were getting at going along with how the dad got fired, and now he's also crying, and he's masking it with the onions.
No. Although, yes.
I'm very familiar with that bit. I remember when my parents got divorced. I had never heard my dad cry before.
Oh, God.
And
oh, my God. This went in a direction I was not expecting. Matthew, are you okay?
I'm cool.
Okay.
It's been like 20 years.
Okay.
Lindy boasts about how she writes her own jokes.
Yeah, good. John Lennon that shit up.
Yeah, and they have a rap routine, which we never get to hear.
Yeah, because it's 1993.
Everybody has a rap routine. She offers to help Chris with her act, but Chris just takes all of her advice as an insult.
Well, yeah, the father says that she should help with her Sister Act.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one should ever watch Sister Act.
What about Sister Act 2?
Back in the Habit? That's all right.
I feel like it'd just be a little out of context without
Don't watch either of them.
Don't do it.
No, do it.
Whoopi in there?
Oh, yeah.
Stay away from Whoopi.
Is that the drug they were on in Let's Get Invisible?
Yeah, Lindy's being a little boastful here, but Chris does need help, and she needs a lot of it. And now Slappy begins insulting Chris, and rightfully so, Nick. I mean, it's obviously Lindy doing it, and Chris deserves it. Lindy does go to the party. She makes $25 because she was just so darn good.
So darn good.
They got a kick out of it, and I think she even got an offer to do another gig later on at another party. She's doing all the parties. Oh, God, yeah. She's doing all the parties. She's going to be everywhere.
A lot of money.
Yeah, she's getting her face on billboards. Yeah, I think she was even offered maybe a role on TV at some point.
That's later on.
That is later.
We'll
that is
get
later.
there.
Yeah, but Chris counters that and be like, "Oh, well, while you were gone, I was offered the MC role at the school concert."
Yeah, it's not the same thing, guys.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, well, Lindy's being kind, being like, "Oh, that's really great for you."
Good for you,
But
Jack.
it's like, are you sure you're going to be ready for that? I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
'cause
big
your
deal.
Jokes fucking suck.
Yeah, and Chris is in no way ready for this.
No.
I'm worried for Chris. It's like,
Oh.
I'm very worried for her. I don't like her, but when you see somebody doing karaoke, you know they're going to be terrible.
Can't live.
Yeah.
Living is without you.
Yeah, very much like that.
Yeah.
They later walk in and find Mr. Wood strangling Slappy.
Is that a euphemism?
Chris has moved on from fingering her junk jewelry, and now she's hanging out with Mr. Wood. So the whole strangling Slappy thing, like they go and try to tell their mother, but she's not having any of this nonsense. She's in bed reading the Stephen King book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, which one do you think it is?
Pet Sematary?
No, there were two that had come out in 92.
Okay.
Dolores Claiborne and Gerald's Game.
I have never heard of any of these.
Dolores Claiborne? It was a movie with Kathy Bates.
No, and didn't see it.
I think it was Kathy Bates.
What would be the most relevant book for her to be reading?
Probably Gerald's Game.
Okay. What was the plot of that?
So this young woman with her older husband goes to a cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere, and he's into weird sex stuff. Well, not weird sex, bondage. So, like, he ties her to the bed, but then he has a heart attack, and she's, like, chained to the bed, or handcuffed to the bed, and, like, can't get out because he's dead, and she sees something in the corner of her eye, and, like, she's just trapped there.
Is this in a way trying to say how the mother of this book is metaphorically chained to the bed? She's trapped in this relationship. The kids disgust her. The father's out doing whatever he does on his quote-unquote business trips.
Sure. Could be misery, too.
Could just be misery, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yep.
That one has Kathy Bates.
Yes, it definitely does.
The mother is she's upset by this. She doesn't want to hear any more about these stupid dummies. The kids think that they upset her because it's like, oh, I think mom was asleep and we woke her and she wanted to pretend that she wasn't sleeping. It's a weird thing. It feels like they run into this problem a lot with their mother.
If it were written in, 2012, 2013, she'd be reading 50 Shades of Grey.
And that's why she was very upset that they bothered her.
Yep.
It's like, this is mom's time. Stay away. As a kid, Nick, I thought that she was just the worst mother.
Okay, yeah. I can get behind that.
But as an adult, I feel her pain. I feel like these kids are terrible.
Yeah, God, we're old.
Their father's away on business in Portland. She's got to deal with this all on her own.
Not in Portland.
Not in Portland, no.
Hello, everyone who watched Lost.
Later on that night, they find Mr. Wood in the kitchen wearing Chris's junk jewelry.
Was he fingering it?
Did he know where that jewelry's been?
Oh,
I don't think he would have put it on if he knew. Oh, God. He's got a big old plate of chicken on his lap. It's a mess down there in the kitchen. Food everywhere, spilled milk. The girls are shocked. Their mother is super angry, totally disgusted by her children.
So was there spilled milk?
There was, and there was some crying. There was some crying. They did not listen to reason in this. She says she's going to take the dummies away, but the girls say they'll clean up this mess and pay for the spoiled food with their allowance.
How long were the vegetables out for?
I don't know, but I mean the milk for sure is bad.
Oh, well, I mean the milk is on the floor. You can't put that back in the carton.
Yeah, well, it depends what kind of family this is. I mean, is it a family that... Well, I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
So they get one last chance, Nick. And, like, at this point, I'm super confused because they both have a lot to lose by this happening. So it can't be one of them just playing a joke on the other one. It's got to be the dummy. The dummy's got to come to life because the junk jewelry that Chris holds dear is down there. They both know that any more nonsense with these dummies, they're going to risk losing them.
Yeah.
And they both do not want to lose them.
No, they don't. And, yeah.
So for sure it's not one of the kids, only it ends up being Lindy.
Yep.
End of chapter 14. I know who's been doing all this. It's been me, Lindy. Your twin sister. Gleefully she admits that she's behind it all. The mastermind. Behind the chicken. Behind the dress. It was to punish Chris for being such a no-talent copycat. Downright terrible sister.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Who's worse? I mean, I think Chris deserves it. I think Lindy went a little overboard, but it's
I think
deserved.
they both deserve each other.
Yeah.
That family deserves itself.
The father knew what was best. He got out of there. I was very surprised by all this, Nick. Shocking revelation. Also rendering the first 70 pages a waste of time.
Oh, yeah.
Big old waste of time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, it just seemed like the setup for a really shitty twist halfway through, and it was just like, all right,
make it not all have been for nothing.
Yeah,
it's got to be something.
I mean, it does establish the characters, and it does establish, like, you know, the dummies, like the motives and everything. But it's just like, we made it this far. Don't betray your audience like that.
Yeah, it's all the dream, Nick.
Oh.
I can get behind a chapter, one single chapter
Absolutely.
being a ruse, but not this much of the book.
Half a book.
Okay, well. It happened. Later on that week, Chris is still practicing with Mr. Wood, and she finds a note tucked in his pocket, and she reads it aloud.
Klaatu Barada necktie?
Yeah, close to that, yes.
Yeah. Karu Mario Dana Loma Molanu Karano.
Very good. You obviously know ancient words. So she reads that out loud. Then she thinks, like, did I see that dummy blink? No, I didn't see anything.
Of course not.
And then later that night, the Millers.
Hello, everybody. We're the Millers.
Old farts.
Hey, now, that's not kind.
They come over for coffee, and they just want to see some grade A ventriloquism. They haven't seen it since the Depression.
They mention specifically Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Are they real people?
Edgar Bergen?
Yeah,
absolutely. He was a ventriloquist in the old days. And yeah, his dummy was Charlie McCarthy.
Well, that's good, because I had meant to ask you if they were real people, but I forgot his name.
Yeah.
So, and it's a real person, not two people. I didn't even realize one of them was a dummy.
Oh, man, Matthew.
Well, they reluctantly do it. Lindy went first. Tough lady to follow, that Lindy. She gets a lot of laughs, a lot of knee slaps. Followed by Chris, who bombed Nick. Yeah, it was real hard to watch. Hard to read. Mr. Wood said some real nasty stuff to the Millers.
Say now, what that dummy say to me? That's not Charlie McCarthy type talk.
It was like Mr. Miller muttered. It's like, these are just crude insults.
These are insults. We don't need to take this, Heather.
I don't want to be here anymore. It's like, how'd you get those teeth so yellow?
Fuck you, dummy. That's right. I said it. Fuck you. I've had enough of this. Mildred, let's go.
Throws a hot coffee on Chris, and it's very insulting, and everyone is shocked, including Chris.
Yeah.
She runs upstairs crying, and her parents stay downstairs to apologize. She was grounded for quite a while, 2 weeks. Almost didn't get to do the spring concert.
Yeah, and, well, let's get to the spring concert, I guess.
Yeah, now, Chris is mad nervous, and does not seem prepared at all for this kind of exposure. This is not the place, this is not what Chris needs right now.
No.
She's very insecure, but she's also, like, she's not ready for it. On stage, Mr. Wood begins insulting the music teacher about her weight.
Big old fatty.
Yeah, you need your own zip code. Those jokes.
Yeah,
even Mr. Wood's jokes are as lame as
It's like,
Chris.
if it were just a few years later, you know, you're so fat, you put mayonnaise on Tylenol. Like...
That would be better than this. Like, it's supposed to be Mr. Wood talking, but
yeah.
I feel like it's still Chris, because these jokes are so lame.
Wood's jokes are pretty solid. Yeah!
The music teacher says, apologize for your remarks. Mr. Wood leans forward and in the microphone says, apologize for this.
And now I'm on board.
You're on board with what?
The Exorcist stuff.
Okay, yeah, and he proceeds to projectile vomit a thick green liquid over the audience, but I just thought it was a weird thing, because why would anybody have to apologize for him vomiting on everybody?
I don't know.
All right, we'll move past it then.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense when you read it quickly, but when you linger on it, it's like, apologize for this.
Yeah.
So this vomit looked like pea soup. It smelled like sour milk, rotten eggs, and decayed meat. Chris tries to stop it, puts her hand in front of the dummy's mouth, but the force is too strong.
Okay.
Really thought you were going to do something to do with Star Wars, and I just wanted to pause so that you didn't ruin my flow, but you just stayed silent.
Yeah, because I knew you were expecting it.
Yeah. But it just kept spewing out. The music teacher yelled. She will be suspended, and if she has her way, suspended for life.
So expelled?
Yes, that's what I wrote here. Like, that's expelled. Suspended for life. Come on. Well, she's a music teacher.
Yeah, that's true. They always suck.
Chris's life is ruined now, Nick. Her parents will talk to her tomorrow. They're too disgusted at her right now.
Yeah, they can't even look at her.
Yeah, I mean, the auditorium was evacuated because of this putrid, this is chemical warfare.
Oh, Jesus, okay. But if I were the father, I would have taken that dummy, I would have just gone to another drumster and threw it in.
Sure. I would have smashed its head in front of her and been like, this is you.
Do you see what happens,
Next.
Chris? Do you see what happens?